Hello everyone, happy Burns Night for those of you that are celebrating tonight and those of you that like to celebrate because it's fun. I thought I'd do a short bookish video. This is anything that I have in the house that is books related and Scotland related. My husband's family is part Scottish, so I started looking into a bit of the culture and the heritage of the family, and to help me do so I picked up some resources. Obviously when you go to Scotland, one of the places most people go to is Culloden. And so from there I've picked up a history of the Jacobites. I know that's not all there is to do with Culloden, and I know it's a lot more complicated than that, but it's a good, friendly, easy book to get you going. I've also got My Scotland, Story of a Nation by Magnus Magnusson. This is, well, as you can see, a history of the country. And it's full of my post-it notes. And finally, I decided to learn a language a couple of years ago, and I picked Gaelic because why not? So I've got myself a Gaelic to English dictionary just to help me out on those tricky little words. I am rubbish at pronunciation though, so I'm working on it. Next up, I'm going to do books that are set in Scotland, but they're not necessarily by Scottish authors. So I've got a couple of my kids' books. This is Nessie Needs New Glasses by A.K. Patterson, illustrated by Stuart Martin. It's a fun little story which, as you can see, Nessie needs new glasses. There's also Hamish McHaggis and the Edinburgh Adventure. These by Linda Strachan and Sally J. Collins. There's a whole series of these. This is just the one we've picked up. A couple of books because I fancied a challenge. So I have Asterix and the Pecs. This is actually a translation into Scots of the original Asterix story. It's great fun listening to people try and speak this. Along a similar lines, I've picked up The Black Island, a Tintin collection by Hergé. This is in Gaelic though, which apparently is to help me learn some Gaelic based on a story that I know. I'm not doing very well so far, but I'm getting there. So some other books I've got that are set in Scotland is obviously the Outland series. This is Cross Stitch Book 1 by Diana Gabaldon, where Claire Randall ends up travelling back to 1743 Scotland, which obviously involves lots of Highlanders, kilts, blood, and Jacobite uprising. Another book set in Scotland that I actually don't have a copy of with me, but it's here, and that's Great Northern by Arthur Ransom, the last in the Swallows and Amazons series. This is The Patient's Eyes by David Prairie. I think that's how you pronounce his name. It's part of the Murder Room series. They're based on the early life of Sir Arthur Conan Doyle while he was studying under Dr. Bell in Edinburgh. Another book I discovered over the summer was part of the challenge to read something I don't normally read. This book is set in Scotland and it's the Highlander series. I actually read Highland Master, which is quite a way in the series. They're by Hannah Howell. They are romance books written and set in historical Scotland. You can imagine what it entails, but they were very good reads. I've got a Quantum Leap book that's set at Loch Ness. This is Loch Ness Leap, written by Sandy Schofield. It actually involves more Sam's storyline. I don't know if you know anything about Quantum Leap, but it's quite an entertaining tale set within Scotland. This is The 39 Steps, written by John Buchan. It's actually the BBC dramatised version, and I've still got it on cassette. I have read the book. This is set just before the events of the First World War, dealing with spies and espionage, and basically an innocent guy getting tangled up he has no business getting tangled up in, and his fight to survive and stay ahead of just about everybody who's on his tail. It's a very good classic adventure espionage story. Next up, I've got books written by Scottish authors. So I've obviously got some Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. This is the uncollected Sherlock Holmes. These were all the little bits of work that he did, things that were unfinished, little puzzles that he answered to people when they sent him letters, and it's quite a nice collection. I got the Fabled Beast Chronicles. This is the first one by Larry Donn, First Aid for Fairies and Other Fabled Beasts. This is a nice series for young readers looking at fairyland creatures in Scotland and myths and legends of the country. This is Gathering Storm by Maggie Craig. It is a romance historical set at the time of the Jacobite Rising in Edinburgh itself, and it's very clever. And then I've got some Robert Louis Stevenson. There's Kidnapped, which is set in Scotland itself, and of course Treasure Island. A Scottish author that I discovered last summer is Janice Mackay. I read The Accidental Time Traveller. There's a trilogy of them. They're set in Scotland and look at different time periods and young adults come to grips with life for them. And finally, a couple of books that are not set in Scotland. I don't think have anything to do with Scotland, but they definitely got Scottish inspired themes or characters. First up is Brian Jacks. This is Rackety Tam, and as you can see, Rackety is a squirrel that's definitely got some Scottish feel to him. Most of his clan actually all speak with what appears to be a very broad Scottish accent. They all wear kilts and tam o' shanters and have dirks. They're very much Scottish Highlanders from myth and legend. And finally, The Wee Free Men by Terry Pratchett. These are the Macnac Freegal, and they are definitely based on old Scottish Highlanders, even to the fact that they are blue creatures. They call themselves the Picts. And yeah, they're mischievous little creatures. So there is a small collection of Scottish inspired and Scottish based books within our house for a variety of ages. There are obviously other authors out there, but I'm sure if you go on Goodreads and just type in Scottish books, Scottish authors, there's a whole list of them, including all the fairy tales and folk tales and myths and legends of the land. It really is a place full of a lot of mystery and awe, and I suppose that's why we still love it to pieces. So happy Burns night to you all, enjoy yourselves, have fun, and I'll see you again soon. Bye!